for me, primal, when people ask me, why am I radical? Why am I so militant? Why am I so extreme? And to think that it is extreme to want justice for my people and equality and to be treated like human beings. Why is that radical? I want you to answer the same question because I know people ask that of you. I see them on Twitter. They call you militant. How do you respond to that? Because I
I
need a more articulate way to say it.
I look at it as a badge of honor. I said to someone years ago, they called me a rabble rouser, and I said, well, you know what? I'm in pretty good company. I said Moses was a rabble rouser. Jesus was a rabble rouser. Whether people believe it or not, MLK was a rabble rouser. Malcolm was a rabble rouser. Denmark Vesey and Nat Turner and Sojourner Truth and Ida B. Wells were rabble rousers. The reality is what people try to do is they try to sanitize and domesticize Black history and present you back your historical figures in a manner that is unrecognizable. And so when people say to me, you know, you really need to be more like Dr. King. Dr. King preached love. Dr. King. I said, well, Dr. King said, no longer could I condemn the Black boys in the ghetto throwing Molotov cocktails without condemning the greatest purveyor of violence in the world today, my own government. Dr. King said that he understood that the riot was the language of the unheard. Dr. King said when he was planning the second March on Washington that he never lived to see come to fruition. He said, when we come to Washington, we're coming to get our check. He was talking about reparations. There's a side to Dr. King said, the unfortunate reality is that the vast majority of white people are racist, whether consciously or unconsciously. That's a Dr. King quote that you will never hear because that's the side that they want to sanitize and they want to wipe away and make you think didn't exist. The Jesus they want you to think existed is the one who fed the 5,000, the one who healed the lepers, the one who said, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, thy mind, thy soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. They don't want to hear about the Jesus that rebuked the scribes and the Pharisees and the hypocrites, that called them a brood of vipers, that said that they were snakes, that said they were just like graveyards, nice and clean on the outside, but inside stinky and full of dead men's bones. They don't want to hear about the Jesus that went into the temple and flipped the tables over and grabbed the whip and whipped the money lenders and those that were taking advantage of the people out of the temple and said, my house shall be called the house of prayer. They don't want to talk about the radical liberating Jesus. They want to sanitize folk and then tell you, you are now to be like these folk in the image that we have created for you, for them. I choose to be in the image of what they really were, the holistic individuals, the ones that could love and cuss you out, the ones that could hurt you or heal you. The ones that would stop at nothing to see the liberation and the freedom of their people. And that's what they tried to do to Nat Turner, one of my heroes. They took Nat from plantation to plantation, and he preached a whitenized gospel and told slaves to obey their masters. And then Nat had an epiphany one day, and he realized that God did not want his people to be in bondage. And he read the scripture with new eyes. And he led that slave revolt basically based on his understanding of scripture, that violence against wickedness is not sin, is not wrong. That thou shalt not kill was not the proper transliteration. It was thou shalt not murder. But if you kill in self-defense for your liberation and your freedom, it's justified. And so what they want to do is keep you in bondage and tell you that it's wrong to fight against your bond. So I choose to be radical. I choose to be militant because I understand that we are never to be subservient to evil. And I close with this, one of my all-time heroes, the father of modern day liberation theology, the late Reverend Dr. James Cone, put it like this, that if you're going to be authentic in your Christianity or in your theology, he said, any authentic theology must affirm that God is on the side of the oppressed. That's the side I choose to be on. And the only way to liberate the oppressed is to be militant against the evil that oppresses them.